Good evening, I'm Reese Thompson.
And I'm Marielle Teffert.
Welcome to Newswatch.
It may be cold outside, but things are heating up inside Athens City Hall.
Reporter Jack Green is there live outside with more about tonight's City Council meeting. Jack, what issue is the county going to discuss?
Ariel and Reese, city leaders will be talking about how to improve the city's financial situation. Inflation and the rise of remote workers are some of the factors that are causing the city to lose revenue. All of this means the city needs to find a new source and get possibly increase taxes. So tonight, the city council is discussing an increase to the city's income tax. Officials are suggesting a 0.3% increase to the income tax, increasing it from 1.95% to 2.25%. That means people would pay $30 more for every $10,000 they make. Some council members have suggested increasing property taxes instead. The city treasurer says property tax levies typically are used for specific purposes, such as building a new school or fire station, while income taxes are the preferred approach for general expenses. He adds a property tax would have more of an effect on local taxpayers since Ohio University makes up around 1/3 of the city, and it does not pay taxes since it's a state institution.
We know the expenses are going to keep coming. The state of Ohio told us this past year, your expenses are going to keep coming. You know, they know this, we know this. So again, we had to come up with some sort of a plan. We got to figure out what we're going to do.
If the council were to pass the ordinance, the potential increase would be placed before Athens voters in May. Now, this is just one part of a long saga that is on the city's financial issues, so be sure to stay connected on air and online to WOUB. Reporting live for Newswatch, I'm Jack Green in Athens.
Jack, this is just one big issue on the agenda tonight. What else are you watching?
Yeah, Ariel, we're also looking for an ordinance that would change the city's crosswalks in Uptown Athens from bricks to brick-stamped concrete. The proposal has received some pushback from residents and has been a drawing point in highlighting the discussion between historical preservation and accessibility in the city. Now, there is already brick-stamped concrete at the crosswalk right behind me here at City Hall, so it's not uncommon, and disability advocates say this is a great way to make Uptown Athens more accessible. At last week's council meeting, the council received a petition signed by 85 residents who said they would not like to see the bricks removed, instead keeping them the same and replacing them. Now, Service Safety Director Andy Stone says ultimately they are going to have to look at how this could impact businesses as construction continues on this project if it were to move forward.
Thank you so much, Jack. For a full recap of tonight's council meeting, along with latest news, weather, and sports from Southeast Ohio, head to our website, woub.org, or the WOUB app.
Nelsonville city officials are meeting tonight to discuss next steps for the city's new government. Last month, voters in Nelsonville passed a ballot initiative that dissolves the city's charter. This means a return to the government the city had before the chapter was adopted 30 years ago. The city was then run by an elected mayor independent of the council. The new government will be in place starting January 2026 after a one-year transition period.
Things are certainly cold outside, and Jack, we hope you are staying warm. Today kicks off deer season, and today's temperatures are a reflection of what it's going to feel like this week. Right now it's about 30 degrees outside. We have overcast skies, and we saw a couple of flurries earlier today, but overall no standing snow like we are seeing up near the Great Lakes areas. Now for our temperatures over the past 24 hours, Athens got down to 14 degrees, which is very, very cold. So if you haven't kicked your heat on already, you definitely want to, or at least grab a couple of extra blankets when you're bundling up and going to bed tonight. Now right now across the area, we're seeing Lancaster about 29 degrees, Zanesville 31. So across the state, we're seeing these uniform, very upper 20s, low 30s sort of temperatures across the region. Now again, for that snowfall, we saw a little bit over Cincinnati, and again, these flurries over Athens earlier in the morning, but not a lot really stuck since these were just flurries. A lot of this was really just a cloud coverage passing through the area. Now tonight we'll see those partly cloudy skies. Again, we're not expecting any snowfall tonight, but we will be seeing these overnight conditions back down about 17 degrees, so it certainly is a cold one. Now as you wake up tomorrow morning and get ready to go to work, or if you're walking to class, you're going to want to bundle up because we're going to be seeing temperatures very very close to this one early in the morning since these cold temperatures hang around. So again, if you're planning on going hunting tomorrow, you're going to want to bundle up. It's going to be cold for a good portion of the day, and we're looking at that high being 35 degrees and not a lot of sunshine either. We're going to be seeing those partly sunny skies with another overnight low of about 19 degrees. So again, these overnight conditions are really going to be in the teens to about the 20s for the next couple of days. Be sure to stay tuned for my full forecast. We're going to dive into what kind of weather we can expect this week.
As Christmas approaches, Nelsonville Fire Department is getting into the holiday spirit by bringing back their annual toy giveaway for children. This event is open to all children living in the Nelsonville York School District. Parents will need to accompany children by bringing a photo ID to verify their address. Santa will be on site and each child will receive one toy. The two-day giveaway will kick off next Wednesday from 5 to 7 p.m. and continue on to Thursday at the same time. Drivers should expect traffic delays on Lake Hope Drive around the fire department. Southeast Ohio counties will see over $1 million to clean up the region. The Ohio EPA is launching a new beautification program to combat illegal dumping and trash burning. The Southeast Beautification Program is giving $1.9 million to fund cleanup events, special waste collection, new waste management equipment, and more. Athens is one of 15 counties receiving funding, including Hocking, Jackson, Meigs, and Vinton counties.
Ohio's deer gun season returns. The season starts today and runs through Sunday with 2 extra days the weekend before Christmas. Hunting hours are 30 minutes before sunrise to 30 minutes after sunset. Before heading out, all hunters are required to have an Ohio hunting license and a permit. Hunters must also wear orange. This can be a vest, jacket, or coveralls. Make sure to pay attention to your county's harvesting limits. The statewide deer harvest limit is 4. All deer harvested must be checked in the Ohio Wildlife Licensing System to help monitor deer populations. For the first time in years, Nelsonville York is not closing schools for the first day of hunting season. In a Facebook post, State Representative Jay Edwards said he will miss the tradition and hopes the school district reconsiders next year.
President Joe Biden gives his son a, quote, full and unconditional pardon. Hunter Biden faced up to 42 years in prison for gun and tax crimes. Now he's likely to remain free, as Amy Kiley reports.
Joe Biden's pardon here of his son, in all likelihood, to a virtual certainty, did spare Hunter Biden from having to go to prison.
Hunter Biden is vowing to help others struggling with addiction after receiving a full pardon from his father. President Joe Biden says he changed his mind about clemency for his son because he thinks politics has caused a miscarriage of justice.
We'll never know definitively whether Hunter Biden was given lenient treatment or harsher treatment because of his name, but I can tell you based on my experience, he was certainly given different treatment than an ordinary person.
Hunter Biden is convicted of possessing a firearm while addicted to or using illegal drugs and has pleaded guilty to tax crimes related to money he has since repaid. In total, the charges against him carry a maximum sentence of 42 years in prison.
I think what happened in this case is the pendulum sort of swung from one extreme to the other, and you ended up with an outcome that the president felt necessary to issue a pardon on.
Republicans are blasting the pardon. It's unlikely to go over well with Democrats either. But analysts say the president's overriding motivation wasn't political.
What you're talking about here is, Biden taking a step that is going to be very controversial, even with his own party, to protect his son.
As a father, it was probably pretty difficult not to proceed.
I'm Amy Kiley reporting.
The pardon covers all potential crimes from roughly the past decade. That span includes Hunter Biden's controversial tenure on the board of a Ukrainian gas company. Coming up, the lake effect buries northern Ohio in snow. Will the pileup continue?
And what an expert says you can do to protect yourself from the cold.
We saw some snow flurries here in Athens this morning, but will that carry on this week? Be sure to stay tuned to Newswatch to find out.
There is nothing that makes us feel more confident and alive than good posture. I'm Miranda Esmond-White. I'm here to talk with you about how improving and maintaining your posture will help you feel healthier and reverse some of the negative signs of aging. If we want to stay healthy, we must choose to move.
Tonight at 9:30 on WOUB. For the past 25 years, Henry Louis Gates Jr. has partnered with PBS to create programs that help us to see how we're all part of the American fabric that is woven together in a tapestry of backgrounds, experiences, hopes, and dreams. Join us for an inside look at Finding Your Roots and other recent works in Henry Louis Gates Jr., The Fabric of America.
Tuesday at 8 on WOUB.
Understanding the past gives a sense of the future. This is the first time that anyone has seen this in 2,000 years.
This is amazing.
Well, I'm excited now.
Pompeii is a battle against time.
You think I'm joking, but look at this. It did really happen.
Don't let anybody tell you who you are.
History teaches us to honor the past.
When you look back, you're like, wow, that was pretty special.
This is something that's actually altering the course of history.
You're charged with keeping these stories alive.
A large part of the country is experiencing frigid cold temperatures. In parts of the Great Lakes, more than 5 feet of snow has fallen over the last few days. And now, heading toward Ohio, Ivan Rodriguez has the latest.
More than 5 feet of snow falling over parts of western New York in the span of a few days. This is what Highmark Stadium looked like before the Buffalo Bills faced off against the 49ers Sunday. To prepare the stands and areas around the stadium, the Bills once again asked their supporters for help, and anyone over the age of 18 who was up for it was paid $20 an hour for clearing snow. In Copenhagen, New York,
this ain't nothing. You get used to this kind of weather living here.
People spent their weekend clearing out the snow from roads, driveways, and even their cars.
Not a huge fan, but we've been lucky, so I guess we're due. Well, lucky as in it is after Thanksgiving before we had our first major snow, so why not?
According to the Weather Prediction Center, an additional foot-plus of snow could fall over western New York, northern Ohio, and parts of Pennsylvania through Monday. Lake effect snow warnings are in effect into Tuesday. Officials in Erie County, Pennsylvania say they're working to clear roads that as of Monday morning were impassable.
That's a result of snow plows and snow removal equipment not being able to access those areas. So now you need the National Guard, now you need the wreckers, you need all those things in order to remove those obstacles so they in turn can clear the snow.
Also asking people to stay home and off the roads.
Only travel when necessary.
The cold will also persist. Nearly 70% of the country will face temperatures below 32 degrees for the next few days. I'm Ivan Rodriguez reporting.
Northern Ohio could be getting a possible extra foot of snow from this storm. Newswatch forecaster Emily Dietz joins us again. Emily, could this snow head down south towards us?
Well, the snow we're experiencing right now will not head south towards us, but we're looking at another system beginning to develop. And right now up near Ashtabula County, again, we're seeing up to like 28 to 32 inches of snow up here in this pink area, stretching up through Pennsylvania. And around these red areas, slightly less than the 20 inch range. But in order to get this lake effect snow, you need to have these winds and this air move about 60 miles across this lake, which is why in some areas you don't really see a lot of lake effect snow, such as the western part of the state. So you really need to have kind of certain conditions going on to really be able to see these big monumental amounts of snow that we're seeing. Unfortunately for us here right now, we're not really seeing any snow. Instead, we just have overcast skies, and it's about 30 degrees out right now, so it definitely feels like it could snow, but it isn't going to for at least the next couple of days. Now, a large reason we're seeing this is because we have these winds kind of moving from the north, curling down across the Great Lakes, again, picking up these winds moving across what we call the fetch, again, that 60-mile range, and this low pressure system kind of circulating, pulling down a lot of this cool air, and that whole combination is creating this lake effect snow that's just going to keep building and building over the next couple of days. Now, right behind it, we do have a high pressure system. across the central Great Plains, and that's going to help kind of pull down this cold Arctic air. Now, what you can't really see right now is what's developing is a low pressure system with a warm front attached that's really far north into Canada, but we're going to talk about that in just a minute because that will be having an effect on us. Now, in the meantime, here's a good look at where the high pressure system will be pulling down these temperatures from the mid-20s even into the 10s. And fortunately for us, we won't see our daytime temperatures get down that low, but we will certainly see our overnight conditions be just that cold. So again, tonight we're going to be seeing an overnight low of about 17 degrees and those partly cloudy skies. And going on into tomorrow, this is where we start to see that development of this low pressure system. You can kind of start to see it move down a little bit. This high pressure system still starts to take shape, tonight. But again, tomorrow, that's when we start to see these highs of 35 and another low of 19. So it's going to be another cold day and another cold night. And then tomorrow, this is when we see this low pressure start to come down into the area. These winds are still moving across these Great Lakes, still picking up that moisture and still creating the snow through the area because we are still seeing those cold temperatures, partly due to this high pressure system. Now, with this low pressure system developing, we have a warm front in front of it, so that'll pick us up in about the 40s a little bit. But for the most part, we're going to see a cold front kind of develop behind it, and that's what's going to come through Wednesday night into Thursday, and that's where we're going to see the effects of it. So up near northern Ohio, they're going to see a lot more lake effect snow, but for us down here in the central Ohio region, we're going to be seeing a little bit of warming, and then we're going to be seeing this cold front behind it. So we could be seeing kind of a rain sort of wintry mix moving forward. Now taking a look again, Wednesday into Thursday, that's when you see that warm front move through about 42 degrees. And then Thursday, it's going to drop down into the 30s. Luckily, our overnight conditions don't change too much, but for the rest of the week after that cold front moves through, we kind of see sort of a steady build back up to a possible 50 degrees on Monday. And that's going to be because we have a high pressure system developing behind that low, and we're going to see a much more gradual kind of warming going on after we see this kind of mess Wednesday into Thursday. Now, what you need to know Wednesday into Thursday is we may even be seeing some slick roads from this rain that could happen and these freezing temperatures.
Thanks, Emily. Cold and flu season is well underway, and as temperatures drop, pneumonia cases can rise. Pneumonia is a lung infection and can worsen depending on the person. Those most at risk include seniors, children under 5, and people with chronic medical conditions, including heart and lung disease. The disease is most likely to spread in cold weather. Officials say when people spend more time together indoors, germs spread easily.
The close spaces and minimal ventilation, that's kind of a perfect storm for anything that's spread via an aerosolized way.
To avoid getting sick, experts recommend washing your hands frequently, avoiding touching your face, and covering your mouth and nose when you cough or sneeze.
Today, the Supreme Court heard arguments in a case brought by the e-cigarette industry over the FDA's rules against flavored vaping products. The e-cigarette industry believes the FDA violated federal law by changing the rules for how its products are evaluated. Dessert-flavored vaping products are under scrutiny because of their popularity with school-aged children. But the e-cigarette industry says the flavored nicotine products help Americans transition away from traditional cigarettes.
It's the holiday season, so people are making their list and checking it twice. But shoppers have something else to think about. What should they buy now in case President-elect Trump's proposed tariffs go into effect? Electronics are popular gifts, and experts say buy them now. Studies show that prices could rise by 26% from proposed tariffs on imports from China. Also consider replacing any older household appliances. According to the National Retail Federation, the tariffs would cause average appliance prices to increase by nearly 20%.
Food banks across the country are dealing with high food prices and less donations as millions struggle to feed themselves. In 2023, Feeding America estimated more than 50 million people turned to food banks for help. In 2024, they found around 85% of responding food banks reported demands for food assistance increasing or staying the same compared to last year. For those who rely on food pantries for assistance, the drop in donations is concerning.
Now the unemployment rate has come down. We would expect the demand for food assistance to decrease, but that's not what has happened. It has stayed at this very high level.
For those facing food insecurity in Southeast Ohio, the Athens County Food Pantry, Athens First United Methodist Church, and United Campus Ministry Center provide free community meals.
Next in sports, Ohio's major win over Ball State on Friday sends the Bobcats back to the MAC title game. See the highlights from the win, plus hear from head coach Tim Alvin and QB Parker Navarro on Ohio's opponent when we return.
Let's start at the beginning, shall we? I can't wait. People will be watching your every move. I can handle it. Let's go.
So, what's your secret?
Things are starting to move in the right direction.
Tell us everything.
Are you ready for more? Just getting started. Locked on the target. Are you ready for more? No one is going to tell me who I can or can't be. Troubles, honey? Like you wouldn't believe. Hop in. Every day, I see the evidence of all that love can do.
Whatever happens, we'll be together.
There's nowhere else in the world I'd rather be. This was perfect.
Where did it all start for you, wanting to be a vet?
I developed a real love for the animals.
Up in the dales, surrounded by those hills. There's no place on earth like it.
Any local beauties taking your fancy?
The animals are the easy part.
Harriet, Siegfried!
It's the people cause all the bother.
You care so much. It's one of the reasons I love you.
Shall we? Can't wait. You've got a dream. You've got to chase it.
Sherlock Holmes is the world's most famous detective. But why didn't his creator, Arthur Conan Doyle, love him as much as the rest of us do? In this series, I'm tracking down clues and evaluating the evidence to discover where creator and creation diverged. I'm hoping to open a little window into Arthur's mind.
Sunday at 8 on WOUB.
4 days and 17 hours. That's how long until Ohio football will have to wait to kick off the 2024 MAC championship game. The Bobcats are heading back to Detroit after earning a necessary win over Ball State. The snow fell throughout Ohio's dominant 42-21 win over the Cardinals, but the cold didn't deter the Bobcats offense as they came out firing and hit on early touchdowns to Coleman Owen. Friday's game marked the third time this season Owen had 2 receiving TDs in the same game. Now, Ohio's offense has put up 40 points for the third time in the last 5 games and has now scored 24 or more in 5 in a row. Bobcats QB Parker Navarro says this team is obsessed with execution.
And, you know, I just think this team's kind of obsessed with just execution, you know, and we appreciate that. We love seeing it, you know, in each other. And so no matter how far we're ahead, we just want to see each other execute.
Because of the dominant showing, Navarro was named the MAC's co-offensive player of the week. He finished Friday's game with 5 total touchdowns and nearly 300 yards, leading the Bobcats to a win. Miami's QB Brett Gabbert was the other offensive player named Player of the Week. And speaking of Miami, Ohio gets the opportunity to rematch with their arch rival in this weekend's MAC championship game. It's the second time in 3 seasons that the Bobcats find themselves in the conference title game. And because of the elimination of divisions in the MAC, the Battle of the Bricks can be played for a championship. Ohio is certainly not forgotten about the loss to Miami in October, but now with even higher stakes, there's an obvious chance for redemption.
I mean, we're playing a team that is the defending conference champion, that return a lot of guys. They deserve to be where they're at, but we also deserve to be there. And we'll have to play very well because they have flat out beaten our tails the last 2 years. Not even close, not even close.
Also in college football over the weekend, the game resulted in 6-figure fines for both Ohio State and Michigan. The rivals met for the 120th time Saturday afternoon, and the heated rivalry boiled over into the post-game celebrations. Shortly following Michigan's 13-10 win, a post-game brawl broke out at midfield after a Michigan player attempted to plant a flag on Ohio State's turf. The Big Ten Conference fined both schools $100,000 for their roles in the fight, and the league said it was an unfortunate showing of sportsmanship. For Ohio men's basketball, Saturday's game was a get-right after the team started 2-5. The Bobcats were rolling Saturday in the Convo and never looked back. Ohio had 5 players score in double figures, and the shooting was as strong as it has been all season. They shot 52% from the field and 44% from 3. The Bobcats scored 42 points in each half and took the game by a final score of 84-68. It was a much-needed win after the slow start, and Ohio head coach Jeff Bull says the team got great production from the bench.
I think our bench was really good tonight. You know, Vic came in, gave us a great presence, 14-7 tonight. Hit a 3, and I thought Elijah's defense was really, really good. You know, when he came in, he ran the offense, played great defense. His athleticism in our backcourt, really helps us.
The Ohio women's basketball team returns home tomorrow morning to face Ohio Christian. The Bobcats will be looking to end a 2-game losing streak with their first game since November 24th, and it's the first at home since November 20th. Ohio will be up bright and early with the game starting at 11 a.m., and it's the Rufus Field Trip game, so admission is free for all fans. Stay tuned throughout this week on Newswatch and the Bobcat Showcase socials for more MAC Championship preview. Reese?
2024's Word of the Year is 2 words. Stay tuned to find out Oxford's Word of the Year when Newswatch returns.
They were the women of 60s and 70s TV variety.
Such good entertainment.
Reinventing the genre through comedy, dance, and song. Hosted by Debbie Boone.
Women that helped push TV variety to its creative zenith.
Showstoppers, great women of TV variety.
Tonight at 8 on WOUB.
Sophie Straw is intelligent, instinctive, and she's the future.
There is a revolution going on. I want a sitcom about all of us who don't fit the mold. And let's do it my way.
Is she trying to break me?
It's good to be back.
This is the PBS Video app. Install it on your phone, tablet, smart TV, or other streaming device, and use it to access more of the PBS shows you love. But if you're looking for even more shows to binge like this, or early access to shows like this, then look for this icon. That's the PBS Passport icon, and it means that video is part of PBS Passport. Passport is our way of saying thank you to our station members. Donate to your local PBS station today, and one of the member benefits you'll receive is PBS Passport, which offers extended access to a growing library of new and favorite PBS programs. You can support your station and your community by becoming a member today. Visit pbs.org/getpassport for details. Watch PBS Passport anytime on any screen, wherever you stream. It's your ticket to the best of PBS.
Brain rot has been named Oxford's Word of the Year for 2024. The term has been widely used to describe the impact of overconsuming low-quality content, particularly on social media. In the past year, the use of the term brain rot has increased by 230%. But according to the Oxford University Press, it was first used more than a century ago by author Henry David Thoreau in his book Walden. Brain rot was picked after a public vote by 37,000 people. It beat out a handful of contenders, including lore, romantasy, and demure.
Well, it certainly is cold outside, and deer hunting season is well underway. And I don't know about you guys if you've been enjoying this cold weather in the slightest at all.
I have learned in the past few days I had to get out my heavier jackets and even the earmuffs and the big scarf. So for people that are deer hunting, are they going to need these bigger coats?
Oh, 100%. In fact, tonight it's even going to be down to 17 degrees, which is really quite cold if you ask me. Also partly cloudy skies, so not going to be seeing any stars, which hopefully you aren't outside to see them anyway, because again, 17 degrees outside for our low. And tomorrow's not going to be any better, so if you're planning on going hunting, you definitely want to pack up those jackets, and you want to maybe even grab a thermos of coffee or even some hot water, because we're going to be seeing that high of 35 degrees, and in the morning when you're heading outside, it's still going to be feeling like it does tonight. Now, over the next couple of days, you're going to see a slow warming, but it's not going to be too much. You're going to want to keep those heavy jackets out.
And that does it for our broadcast this evening. For all of us here at Newswatch, thanks for watching.
Stay tuned for the PBS NewsHour coming up next. Have a great night.
We're on the precipice of a great discovery.